A very good morning to one and all. I am Dr. Anjali Utwani from the Department of Orthodontics, Mahatma Gandhi Dental College and Hospital. Today we are going to discuss orthopedic appliances, which are appliances used to move the dentition and jaws as a whole. The contents include introduction, after which we are going to discuss three orthopedic appliances, which are headgear, face mask and chin cup. Coming to the introduction, when a jaw discrepancy exists, the ideal solution is to correct it by modifying the child's facial growth. So when a patient comes to you in the growing age, you have scope to manipulate the jaws by giving a direction to the growth of jaws and to manipulate the force. In orthodontics, two types of forces are employed. One is orthodontic force, that is applied on the teeth, while the other is orthopedic force, which is applied onto the jaws. According to Sisuni, in 1972, orthodontic therapy is aimed at the correction of dentoalveolar malocclusion without any skeletal deviation. As you can see in the image, according to Sisuni, when a force is applied onto a tooth, when an orthodontic force is applied onto the tooth moves in a particular direction, causing compression of the PDL on one side and expansion on the other, causing two sides, that is tension side and compression side, which causes movement of the tooth. Whereas orthopedic therapy is aimed at correction of the skeletal imbalance with the correction of any dentoalveolar malocclusion. So we here with orthopedic appliances, we are trying to move the jaws as a whole. An extraoral heavy force of more than 400 grams when applied to modify the bone growth or change the direction of bone growth is known as orthopedic force. It is generally applied with the help of extraoral anchorage. Now, what are the two types of force? The first may be extraoral force, which can modify or change the direction of the bone growth. For example, we use a chin cup in cases which have extra sagittal growth of the mandible. The chin cup helps us to hold the growth of the mandible in the horizontal direction. The second type is extraoral force for movement of individual teeth. For example, face bow and occipital anchorage. Orthopedic appliances utilize the teeth as handles to transmit the forces to skeletal structures. And forces are applied onto teeth which radiate outwards and then to nearby skeletal structures. Oh God, we gotta cut this. Forces are applied on teeth that radiate outwards and then cause movement of the skeletal structures. To produce skeletal changes, following considerations must be made. What all has to be considered before applying any orthopedic forces? The required amount of force, duration of force application, the direction of force application, age of the patient and timing of force application. We are going to discuss all of them in detail. Amount of force. Heavy forces greater than 200 grams on each side compress the periodontal ligament, causing hyalinization, and that prevents the movement of the tooth. High force produce hyalinization, leading to undermining resorption, which prevent tooth movement. Thus, only orthopedic movement is seen. So, when you apply a heavy force, the increased amount of force leads to decreased blood supply, and which causes cell death. When cell death occurs, there is avascular area or hyalinized area in the PDL, which causes no tooth movement. So only skeletal movement will be observed in this case. Coming to the duration of force, intermittent force ranging from 12 to 14 hours per day is used in orthopedic appliances. Increasing the duration beyond the optimum range increases the dental effects. Direction of force. The direction of force application should be such that it maximizes the skeletal effect we wish to express in a patient. Coming to the age of the patient, Orthopedic appliances are most effective during the mixed dentition, or if we say it more precisely, in the growing age of the patient. It takes advantage of the prepubertal growth spurt, and however, treatment should be maintained until the growth is completed. We do not have to apply the force only during prepubertal growth spurt. It has to be maintained until the growth is complete in order to stop any adverse effects. Coming to timing of force application, there is evidence that an increase in the releases of growth hormones is more during the evening and night, which is associated with the sleep onset. So it is advisable for the child to wear the headgear or any orthopedic appliance in the evening and throughout the night. For class 3 malocclusions, if the mandible is prognaathic, we can use chin cup, which is used to restrain the growth of the mandible in the sagittal plane. And we can also use reverse pull headgear, which helps to pull the maxilla forward in cases of retrognathic maxilla. In class 2 malocclusions, orthopedic appliances that can be used are headgear, which helps to control the maxillary prognathism. We'll discuss all of them in detail. The first image shows headgear, in which you can see an intraoral extension is given, and it extends to the head or neck of the patient. Second image shows a face bow or face mask or reverse headgear. It uses support from the head and chin in order to pull the maxilla out. That means maxillary protraction can be conducted with the help of face mask. And the third image shows chin cup. It is worn over the chin of the patient with the support of the head in order to control the growth of the headgear. The most common amongst all horizontal orthopedic appliances, they are ideally indicated in patients with excessive horizontal growth of the maxilla. It is also indicated in patients with or without vertical changes along with some protrusion of the maxillary teeth. Reasonable good mandibular, dental and skeletal morphology. So whenever you want to manipulate the growth of the maxilla in the sagittal plane, you can use a headgear. They are most effective in the prepubertal period, where you can use the growth spurt in order to manipulate it. It can also be used to distalize the maxillary dentition along with the maxilla. So there is a bow that goes inside the mouth. There is an intraoral extension which gets attached onto the molars. So when backward force is applied onto the appliance, it pushes the maxillary teeth back. So it is used to distalize the molars. And it can also be used as an adjunct to gain or maintain anchorage in cases where we require high anchorage. What are the components of headgear appliance? There are 3 components. One is the force delivering unit, that is the face bow and J hook. There is a force generating unit where you can use elastics or you can use springs, and there is an anchor unit, that is the head cap or neck strap. What is the force delivering unit? Face bow is the most important component which help in delivering extraoral force to the posterior teeth. So when you look at the image, there is an outer bow which will be engaged with the elastics. There is an inner bow which will be involved in the headgear tube of the maxillary molar tube, and there is a junction of the two. Outer bow is made of stainless steel wire of 051 or 062, that is 1.5 mm dimension, and it is contoured around the face. It may be short, medium or long. So when you say it is short, it is shorter than the inner bow. When it is medium, it is right at the level of the maxillary molars, and when it is long, it is way distal to the inner bow. Coming to the inner bow, it is made up of 045 and or 052 inch 1.25 mm round SS wire, and it is inserted around the buccal tube of the maxillary first molars. The inner bow is adapted according to the shape of the arch and stops in the form of U-loop, bayonet bends and friction stops are placed in the bow mesial to the buckle tube. What is the junction? It is the point of attachment of the inner bow and outer bow, which may be soldered or welded. It is usually positioned at the middle of the two bows. Thank you. We will continue the lecture in the next topic.